Top mistakes. So here's what to look out for. Applying too good to be true strategies. If it's too good to be true, then it probably is. It's too good to be true. Anytime you hear somebody say, now you know, you can't beat the mechanics of Google. If you're ranked higher, if you have a higher popularity grade, you will be visited by Google more often. You can even be visited weekly or bi-weekly by Google. But there's no such thing, no matter how perfect your optimization is, no matter how perfect your SEO company is, there's no such thing as rising to the first page of Google within a week or two. So now we know. Another thing we see a lot is the let your developer do it approach. We have an amazing team. We have senior developers and we have our SEO staff. And often developers may know a lot about SEO, but not what it takes to consistently change the website so that it ranks really well. So we often, in a lot of situations, we see that development, if they're not very aware of coding and optimization that's placed by an SEO company, it can be overwritten really, really easily. So we definitely have to look out for that when we have more than a few hands in the pot. Simply slapping keywords on your website. That's old school. That worked 10 years ago. And that's gone. Everybody has the same keywords you do on your website right now. Not recognizing factors outside the website. Authority, social, and backlinks. And we'll talk more about that. Not budgeting enough to compete in pay-per-click, and we'll talk more about that. PPC. So this is one of the most common things that happens in pay-per-click. And at Google, pay-per-click is the ads you see at the top and the ads you see on the right-hand side. Well, good conversion for pay-per-click is like 3-4%. So just do the math on that. Depending on what you're in is going to determine how expensive the click is. If each click is 10, 15 bucks, because your pay-per-click account also isn't set up very well, you need to have a minimum budget to convert a certain amount of clicks into business. So we always want to start out right and look at what's the minimum spend you need to actually notice a difference. Not incorporating a complete SEM strategy, and slapping up a Facebook account is not social media, and I am not the social media department today. Here's the good stuff. Here's the gravy. What affects SEO the most? This is your roadmap here, and it will be for the next coming year or two. Local is not just for local. Anyone experience a hiccup in your rankings about 6-7 months ago? No one has? Yes? It went up? Yes? Good. So, as an SEO company, we didn't used to touch Google Maps. We didn't care, frankly, because it didn't really move the dial. And then Google decided to make a fundamental change, and we like this. Google decided that we're going to evaluate your authority as a legitimate business and website, because so many new ones are popping up, by judging your Google Places, because that's kind of your foundation. And that tells Google, hey, you're an actual business, you're an actual company, and you're not just some fly-by-night website that just popped up, because there's so many new websites that pop up. And so Google looks at your Google Places. How many of you are familiar with Google Places? How many of you have Google Places set up? How many of you have a minimum of 3 to 4 reviews on your Google Places? Awesome. Okay, 4 or 5 of you. So that's the only thing as an SEO company we don't have control of is reviews, but there's actually a magic number, and it does seem to be about 3 or 4 reviews, and that affects your authority. So if you look at a pie chart of how much weight different factors carry for SEO, Google Places actually is now about 15 to 20% of the overall weight that will affect your website rankings. So it's fundamental. It has to be there. It has to be done. And without it, we may not get the kind of traction that we're looking for. So we include that as part of our SEO campaign. That's one of the things, there's so many folks dedicated to different parts of this, because now there's just so many moving pieces that we have to constantly work on these different pieces month to month to month. So that's Google Places. We completely optimize Google Places because you get rewarded for authority by having it filled out 100% and having that minimum number of reviews. And that links back to your website. Second, SEO results need a lot of work. Consistency, consistency. It's kind of the 15% rule too. You don't want to make drastic changes to your website because you'll get dinged for it. Google actually rewards for consistency. So month to month to month, it's kind of the 15% rule. You don't want to make changes to your website more than sort of 15 to 20% change, because Google looks at your website, it recrawls you and goes, man, you don't know what you're doing. You know, nice try. It comes back and revisits you, and the next time it visits you, all your keywords are changed again and everything else has changed, and it goes, man, you really don't know what you're doing. So you know, a make or breaker campaign starting off right. Google promotes that anyone can turn on your pay-per-click. And we'll talk more about that. It's so true. You get these $100 coupons in the mail and you can turn on your pay-per-click tomorrow if you want. Big difference between doing that and having a managed pay-per-click campaign that's a fraction of the click cost. Can you afford not to do social? We'll cover that more later. Answer is no. And mobile, optimizing for mobile. Lastly, conversion. Do you have somebody looking out in the best interest of you and your website? And this will make or break your campaign. This is what we work on so much. About 70 to 80% of our clients' home pages, because they fundamentally don't work. They don't convert a visitor into a lead or a sale. And so we focus on conversion science. It's the art of converting a visitor into a client. That's sort of the 2-second rule. On average, somebody will hit your homepage, and within 2 seconds, they'll have made up their mind of whether or not they're going to contact you or hit the back button and go look at your competitor. So we're in it for the long haul. We really want to make sure that the homepage works, because if not, we've already mastered the art of getting a lot of traffic to websites. We know we can do that. We can, on average, increase traffic 15 to 25% on average organic traffic every month. Who cares? If you're getting 10,000 visitors or 20,000 visitors every month and you're not converting them, then you're not going to be continuing your SEO campaign. So we really want to make sure we make a lot of recommendations. Conversion, we make a lot of verbal recommendations for conversion. Usually then that will fall into web design to make those changes. But as part of the SEO process, we want to make those recommendations. Are you ready for mobile? 25% of mobile internet users are now using the internet via only their mobile phones. So think about that. 25% are only now using the internet and searching local from their mobile phones. So how many times have you been at your desk and you're comfortable with something that's on your phone and you're sitting in front of your computer and you whip out your mobile phone and you use it? That's what I do too. And it's very obvious. We look at the way things are trending, and everybody will be looking for you on their mobile phone.